Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty big drama going on over here when it comes to quite a few different things. Number one, in regards to the PlayStation 4, where some folks are actually trying to go and outsource and get rid of the PlayStation 4 itself, which I would kind of say we've had this topic a lot on the channel. It's kind of a good thing, bad thing, etc. But as well, that also kind of leads to some folks going and complaining really hardcore on PlayStation 4 graphics, PlayStation 5 graphics, the graphics of what people are kind of expecting, and overall, just even people getting tilted and kind of just disgusted on too much of a hyper focus on graphics themselves. And if all those random words combined together is not just the most accurate description of you cannot please everyone, I do not know what else to go and say. So I'm gonna go talk about this, talk about some drama, talk about some new stuff, talk about some big leaks too as well, and a potential brand new event that's actually a new one outside the most recent one, and everything else in between. So if you guys will sit back, relax, enjoy, make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on, like the video if you guys want to, give me your thoughts and comments down below. Of course, Twitter and Twitch and Amazon links all down below too, so if you just want to click on those, and let's get into some pretty juicy good details. So here, first and foremost, I want to kind of cover up one of the bigger stories over here, and this is in regards now to Final Fantasy 16. Now, I am sure, and hopefully a lot of you guys agree, that this game is going to be a good game. I hope this game is going to be a good game. It's coming out very, very soon, and well, whenever my Diablo fix is probably done, this will be the next thing to fill the hole. Final Fantasy 16 was actually currently planned to, funny enough, release both on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 simultaneously. So this game was in theory meant to be a similar game like a God of War or Horizon, where it was meant to go and release on both consoles, and well, ideally people would have still liked it, and also would have been hopefully good. Like hopefully graphically it would have still been nice or ran well, probably a little bit more rendered down and more focused on like a 1080p or maybe like a 30 FPS or whatever it might have been, but it was actually in the plans. Now, according to Yoshida, the PS4 version was ultimately canceled, as it would have taken a further 1 to 2 years worth of development to ensure its quality was high enough. So two big things to note. Number one is that this could have actually still happened. Like at this point, a PS4 version could have happened. But they would have maybe had to release a PS5 version, and then if they didn't want to like have the game be super delayed for a super long time, it probably would have been awkward. So, I mean, for me, I'm cool with this. If they would have focused purely on PS5, I have a PS5, I think most of you guys do, I would have been fine with this, because, well, I could go play the game in a few weeks. Now, if they were like, hey, we're going to go delay the game a whole nother year, or even 2 years, I'll say 2 years because it sounds more dramatic, bro, they'd have this game coming out literally in 2 years from now. I mean, duh, but like, I don't think the PS4 at that point would have even mattered. Now, I mean, at this point, we still have like a few staggered releases, and folks are still releasing things on the PS4. But as you guys probably go and tell, a lot more of the bigger mainstay games are mainly on the PS5 focus, if we had to pick and choose. So this is why things are a little bit on the crazier side, because this is just like showing that the PS4 is pretty much on its obsolete last legs. Now, if you have a PS4, you use it, it's fine. I'm cool with it. Nothing wrong with that. Not everyone could afford it or can't find it, or just wait. You wait a little bit longer for more games or things go on sale, whatever. It's totally fine. But one of the bigger things out there is that, dang, another 2 more years would have been rough. And some folks were even kind of critiquing how just they'll show them the state of play gameplay. Some folks were even saying that the gameplay itself didn't even look that good. Now, let me say this. I think the game looks fantastic, at least in my honest opinion. But imagine this trying to run on a PS4 hardware. Number one, it'd literally sound like a jet engine, but number two, I'm sure these graphics and resolutions would be a lot more mediocre, more grayed out, less background details, less tree details, less effects even right now, all this type of stuff, which would make sense if you can make sure the consoles are good. But at the end of the day, the fact that it's a pure PS5 game and pure PS5 title, I'm A-okay with this. I'm cool with this. So give me your thoughts and comments on this down below, and I keep saying, I just cannot wait for this game to come out. I really hope it's good. I hope it doesn't disappoint, and so far, everything I have seen has been a pretty nice vibe. Now, but it's also kind of goes and segues into even a bigger topic in regards now to the PlayStation water effects, and Spiderman, which have been going very viral. But first, we go cover up the really quick thing where a lot of folks are now saying that there's going to probably most likely be another PlayStation 5 presentation throughout this year, as a lot of sources and leakers and just people kind of just thrown out there are kind of assuming. So, although that's not too surprising at the end of the day, but, well, it's cool. I think it's actually very nice, and we're expecting it. Like, we even kind of covered this video up a little bit yesterday where a lot of folks are assuming it's based on like the Xbox, trying to go and see what they go and do, maybe waiting for more like actual like proper dates. Maybe a lot of these big triple N games, people are just kind of curious on what's going to happen, etc., etc. Kind of think a good example is maybe like Spiderman. We don't know the full-on release date still, so they just want the finalizations for all that stuff, and then they could do more things like state of plays or whatever. But because we have been seeing Sony doing multiple live streams every year for some time, and a lot of folks were saying and hyper fixating on the PS showcase, saying it should have been a little bit bigger as well, but a lot of folks thought it was kind of, well, mediocre. And with this one, we keep on having other folks out there saying like, hey, sources are telling me both PlayStation and Nintendo will have additional digital showcases this year. Keep your eyes turned to this channel, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna be honest, this guy, whoever this guy is, I mean, you can call me out, it's fine. I'd probably agree with you myself saying the same stuff. Just seems like speculation. It's kind of a duh. It's like, hey, there's gonna be an event. It's like the year is like not even halfway done. Like there's gonna be more stuff coming out, especially with holiday times and stuff. There's gonna be more. It's kind of like a duh. But a lot of folks, and myself included, more on like the general vibe, all agree is going to probably be more showcases in the future because there's going to be a lot more different games out here too as well. But at the same time, we're probably going to be seeing more, like without a doubt. So kind of cool stuff over there. Now, last but not least, to kind of get back on the topic of the graphics. Now, as we kind of covered over here, where some games may be getting out, like, you know, I don't know, I guess like outscaled for when it comes to PS4 games, we've been seeing a lot more folks out here and being more viral on all this. We're saying, look at the water. That splash VFX. No physical interaction. Miles doesn't even look wet in his suit, or like, you know, there's like no splashing or movement, which I kind of agree. It looks kind of mediocre. Like fans are getting upset with this. People don't like this. So not what I expected from a PS5 only game by Insomniac. This game clearly needs much more time. Delay it. Now that's a big line to go and drop. And as you guys, I mean, I do want to say this. Like, I don't want to be the guy who's like harping. I think the game looks good. I think as long as the gameplay is fluid and the story's decent, I don't think I really mind that much about water physics. Let's be honest. Like, I'm cool. Like, before I go into this rant, I don't think I mind that much. But one of the bigger things to note is that on this, it is true. Like, I don't want to, like, say anything to this guy or, like, kind of be like, yeah, you're right. But this guy's right. I don't think the game has to be delayed for it, though. I'm okay with mediocre water for, like, a small little segment of a game. Not a big deal. But, like, it does look awful. Like, based on the trailer, like, look, there is, like, nothing. It's just, like, little random splorshes that flop up, and that's pretty much about it. There's nothing really that nice about it. Now we look through like the actual city, the other animations, the like attacking effects and everything else, like it looks great. And maybe they just want to maybe let this cook a little bit longer. Maybe they just didn't care that much about water because obviously it might be a smaller part of the game. Like the main thing is more in the city itself. But we actually saw like other cool things of like big updates in like the city with things like the water itself too. So I don't know, but one of the big responses this one was saying, this is one of the reasons why I can't stand the new PS fan base. Ever since PS4 gen, all these dudes do is just worship graphics. Now, I'm a big graphics guy myself. I'll own up to it. But at the same time, I'm okay with graphics not being the best if the game and gameplay itself is also good. Like, if it changes it, I'm kind of okay with it. Just in my mind. He says, who cares that the gameplay is expanded with symbiote suit and we get to play as Peter and Miles? Who cares that New York City is greatly expanded upon? No, none of that matters on how the water looks. The freaking water. Who gives a heck? It does nothing to the gameplay. After a few hours, I stopped giving or care about how the game looks. It does nothing for me past the honeymoon phase. Now, a little bit of a spicy Twitter back and forth, but hit over 700,000 views, guys can see in the bottom of the screen. But at the same time, it's kind of funny because some people are calling out the fact that Spider-Man should be delayed, as you guys can see from the initial comment. And like I said, I don't think the game should be delayed. I don't think the game has to worry about it. We don't have to pull Final Fantasy 14 or 16 where it might go get delayed 2 years just to fix water. I'd rather just go play the game. If like 95% of the game is looking fine and dandy, I don't think I mind at the end of the day. But it's funny because people, I know some people are indifferent. Like, I want to hear your thoughts on this especially. Because some folks are like, yeah, I want to see good graphics. I'm a graphics guy. I like seeing good graphics. But like I said, graphics are not the only things that matter. I've played indie games and enjoyed them. I've seen games with mediocre graphics, have fun gameplay. I don't mind. I'll play retro games too, as long as like stylistically they're still vibing. I don't really mind really at all at the end of the day. But when you kind of go and see stuff like this, I think this person's like actually being serious. I think this person actually is like, no, I want this game to be perfect. Go delete the game. And I mean, I'm not, maybe they're just making a joke, I don't know, but like all their stuff, just like the emoji, the sigh emoji, the typing, everything, saying the call for it to be delayed, the tags, everything, it seems like a little bit more of a normie person. Like their little tag literally says passion equals video games too. I mean, funny, they both have passion, passionate, passion, you know. It just kind of almost seems like two different calls of the storm. Some people want the game to be perfect. They're expecting the game to be perfect. They have very high standards for Insomniac. And I do want to say, and I agree, the water effects suck. Like, let's just be honest, they are bad. Like, this is bad. I even noticed that myself in the conference. But on the opposite side, I'm kind of more on Chris, where like as long as the game looks and flows good And over time, I don't care as long as the game is fun, I'm immersed. And on top of that too, like graphics do matter a lot, but graphics are not the only thing. And I do appreciate the fact if they made the city nicer, if they made the actual effects nicer, they made the bosses nicer, made sure the actual story lore was good, because I'd rather play a good game with mediocre water than I'd rather play a game that is awful with really good water. You know what I mean? So kind of give me your thoughts and comments, because it does seem like people are both actually mirroring both sides of these arguments. So it's kind of maybe a toss-up. So I want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. I think most of you guys probably don't care as much, kind of like me. But anyway, make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on Twitter and Twitch written down below if you guys would like to follow all the social medias. Check out the nice little Amazon links too as well if you guys want to go pick that and stuff on up. And I appreciate y'all so much for watching and existing in the first place.